Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay Archer and I am the founder of Rootstrong. Rootstrong is a 501c3 nonprofit organization based right here in the city of Detroit. And we do a lot of work both locally and globally to make sure that we're working to empower our kids from the roots up. How do we do that, you might be asking? We work specifically in education and literacy. We believe that literacy matters and that every child and every human should have equal access to tools for their empowerment through books and through education. We do a lot of other great projects as well, and those are very specific to the communities that we serve. But today we're here not to hear more from me, we're here to hear a little bit more on a global scale about how children around the world have been learning during the pandemic. Here in the United States, we're oftentimes very aware of how our kids have had to adjust during the pandemic. Different communities, different groups have had different challenges when it comes to adjusting to learning online and at home during this pandemic. We've seen the great lengths that a lot of children here in the United States in our Black and Brown communities have had to go to just to get an equitable or even close to equitable form of education. A lot of the inequalities that have existed in our education system here in the United States have been exacerbated from the start of the pandemic. I believe that in order to become the best advocates and the most inclusive advocates we can be, we have to be aware of and care for issues and perspectives and experiences that exist beyond just what we're aware of, beyond our own borders. And so today I'm excited to have Josh Creary, a 4th grade student in Glengoff, Jamaica, share his perspectives on what learning has been like for him in rural Jamaica.
My name is Joshua Jonathan Creary. I am 10 years old and I am in grade 4, and the school that I go is Grateful Hill Primary, and the subject that I like is maths, and I would like to be a doctor in the future.
Perfect. I love that answer, Josh. So the next question is, tell me a little bit about where you're from and what life is like living in your community.
I live in St. Catherine, where it's cool, calm and sunny, and we're surrounded by greenery. And the things that we like to do as fun is go to the beach, play mini games and other things. And also where I live, we have a lot of crops like banana, cane, plantain, and all of those.
Awesome, that was really well said. Next question is, so how have you been learning during the pandemic? Have you been learning in school or have you been learning at home? And yeah, just tell us a little bit about what that has been like.
I do online schooling at home using WhatsApp and Zoom, and the challenges are most of the time the teachers, they would cut off on all of this subject, and sometimes the teachers would also, as another day, they would move on a different subject. So learning is kind of hard because as the next day we're moving on to a different subject. While when we're at school before the pandemic, we could have some more time to study on that work, but now we're in the COVID, we can't. And also some things I understand better with my teacher than with my parents. And also the constant staring at the phone. Every day I would normally get a headache from it as well.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Josh. I can't imagine how difficult that must be learning from home, and I know it comes with a lot of challenges adjusting, and I know that you're probably still adjusting to all of these different changes. You did mention that you were using both WhatsApp and Zoom. I would love to know what your everyday looks like. So what does your everyday look like in using WhatsApp and Zoom? Just give us an idea maybe of what does everyday learning at home look like for you? Take us through your day.
So first, I go on Zoom, Zoom is used for devotion, and then after the Zoom, we would do 5 subjects on WhatsApp per day.
Wow, so you guys only use Zoom for morning devotion, and then you're saying after that morning devotion on Zoom, you'll go straight into using WhatsApp. So on WhatsApp, how does your teacher teach you using basically text messaging? How does that work?
So the teacher, she doesn't always, all the time, text. Sometimes she would send voice notes telling us the subject and thing, and then she would send us videos and then telling us to answer questions when you're finished watching the videos.
Really interesting, and honestly, it's really inspiring to see how teachers and students like you have been having to adjust and be more creative with learning and with teaching. So I think a lot of people here in the United States would be really interested to see that, you know, something like WhatsApp is being used as a way for kids like you to learn, because, you know, as you said earlier, Glengoff is a rural community. So, you know, a lot of times things like internet isn't always something that every child has. So I think it's really cool that WhatsApp is being used in that way. I would like to know so when you do your homework, is it your teacher will take a picture of, you know, the homework and send it to all of you students, and then, you know, just tell me about how you have to do your homework using WhatsApp.
So Lindsay, my teacher, she send it, and then I would do it, and then when it's complete, my mother would take a picture of it, and then the teacher would tell us what is wrong and what is right.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. So I'd love to know, I know that the pandemic makes it more difficult for, you know, kids to be able to hang out with their friends, but, you know, have you been able to see your friends during the pandemic? And if so, how have they been dealing with learning from home? You've shared with us a little bit about what you've been using, WhatsApp and things like that, but do you know if any of your friends have had difficulty with learning at home and adjusting to this new way of learning?
No, I haven't seen any of my friends, and I couldn't answer that one about any other students having difficulties during the COVID learning.
Thank you, Josh. Okay, so I think this might be my last question. I'm not sure. But I would love to know if there's anything at all that you would like to share with people here in the United States to hear more about your experience, what it's been like for you learning at home, anything that you'd like to share that you would like other people to know. Because here in America, a lot of kids are struggling too, just like you, but a lot of children here have, you know, they have computers, they have tablets already, and, you know, a lot of children aren't aware of other kids around the world who may not have had those things before this pandemic. And so here in America, a lot of children are used to having computers, and so when everyone said we have to learn online now, they were kind of used to that. So is there anything different or anything that you would like to share that would help other people better understand you as Josh Creary, or you and your experiences?
It's learning in the pandemic. It's hard. It's hard for me and my parents. What makes it so challenging is that my parents had to get internet, and it's very costly to me. And to me, I can see that some of my friends are struggling because I don't see some of them in the online classes.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that, Josh. I can imagine how difficult that must be, because, you know, I know that internet is costly, and for, in Glengoff, in rural communities in Jamaica, a lot of parents and a lot of families don't have that means of being able to, get internet, get tablets, get laptops and things like that. So this pandemic has definitely been very challenging, on top of your parents, also having to learn how to be at-home teachers for the first time. So it's a lot of responsibility. But shout out to your parents for being the great parents they are, because they're doing a great job. They're doing a great job. And the other children, I can imagine it's also challenging for them when you don't see them showing up in class. Whereas when you guys were in school, it's easier for the kids to come in person and know that they're being seen. They can ask their teacher questions, but a lot of these kids must not have access to, internet or, tablets to be able to even be a part of school every day. On top of that, some of them might be falling behind because they're not able to see their teachers. So I can't even imagine how difficult it must be. But I thank you for sharing all of these great perspectives, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me, because I know that a lot of people here hopefully would be interested in hearing about how this pandemic has affected kids like you outside of here in the United States, but in more rural communities in places like Jamaica. So thank you, Josh. And I just have one more question for you, but I'll send this video clip before it's too long. So my last question is, what is your biggest dream in life? What is one, or you can give me a few things that you would like to do in life, and don't restrain yourself. So think of anything that you'd like to do in life. I would love to hear all those great dreams.
I would like to be a doctor, because I would like to be a doctor because I could save the lives of people. That's why I would like to be a doctor. And also, my other dreams is taking care of my parents and helping people that are in need of things that they don't have.
Gosh, those are amazing dreams. I absolutely know that you're going to accomplish every single one of them, and I'll be here to root you on. And I can't wait to see you become the best doctor in the world. You already know that I'm very excited to see you accomplish your dreams, and I know that you're a really amazing kid. So I have no doubt that you're going to take that greatness that's already in you and share that with the world and do so many great things. So thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today and for sharing all of these wonderful ideas and experiences and your perspectives of how you're learning at home and what that's been like for you.
You're welcome, Lindsay, anytime.